I got a question for our listeners and viewers here. Hi, kids. Do you like violence? Because Slim Shady is coming to America. Klim Kostin himself.
Oh, yes.
Jim Thomas of the Post-Dispatch confirms that Kostin will join the Blues on Tuesday. In theory, that would be time for the Blues' second game against Anaheim, and then more likely probably the 2 games against Vegas. He'll at least be an option. I'm personally looking forward to seeing more of him and less of Sanford, but we'll see if Berube actually does that. With Avangard Omsk, who is, by the way, the KHL's Gagarin Cup champions, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
We're getting a player with championship pedigree. Kostin played 67 regular season and playoff games, scored 12 goals, 15 assists. He was a plus 11 and 95 penalty minutes. Because, like I said, do you like violence? Because Klim Kostin is coming. Mason, what can we expect out of Slim Shady? You seem excited.
A fight right off the bat. Guarantee it. He's going to fight somebody. He's going to punch somebody. And then he's going to score a game-winning goal. And then he's going to win the hearts of everyone. And I'm going to buy a Klim Kostin jersey. And everything will be sunshine and rainbows. And the Blues will win 5 Stanley Cups. And it's going to be great.
And he's going to be the heart and soul of the team. That's okay.
And he's going to be the captain, and he is going to carry this team to victory and glory. And then we're going to lose him in an inevitable expansion draft. That's what's going to happen.
In fact, I'll go as far as saying he's going to get a Gordie Howe hat trick in his first game. He's going to get a goal, an assist, and a fight.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Let's do it. Wags, you excited about Slim Shady?
Oh, very excited. I remember a couple of seasons ago in the preseason where we thought he was going to make the team, and it was a game against Dallas, and he did pretty much exactly what you were explaining. He had a fight. I believe he had a goal, and I'm pretty sure he had an assist as well. So he showed that he could play in the NHL, albeit in a preseason game, and then being able to go over into Russia in one of the more wide open kind of leagues. It's not as defensive minded as you think it is, but to be out there and be a physical presence that also scored goals, he did round into a really good third line type of guy. And I think that's exactly where he profiles in at. He could be, I don't want to put that much pressure on it, but he could be the Pat Maroon that we've been needing on this team. Big body, can go to the front of the net, be physical, shield the puck with his body, and score goals. So this might be a huge, huge blessing in disguise for the Blues to have him coming in this late with the championship run. So he's got the championship feel. He knows what it takes to win, and he's got that excitement level. Yeah, maybe he's celebrated a little bit too much, but maybe he comes in and goes, look, I felt the excitement of what it took to win a championship in my hometown. Now let me come in and maybe I win 2 championships in the span of 4 months. That could be a pretty good enticing thing for him as well. So I'm excited to see what he's able to bring here. I think he's going to be with this team long term. And I'm just real excited for Kostin. I've been following him for the last 5 or 6 years and have been waiting for him to make his appearance with the Blues.
Not only are we excited, he's excited.
Yes.
He has flat out said, I'm excited to join. That's what you want. Because he's riding that championship high. He knows what it takes to win. Honestly, very few other teams in this league are going to be able to get a guy just before the playoffs who has won a freaking championship
this year.
Like literally last month. You know, that might be a commodity. Who knows how that works?
Yeah, exactly. And you know, you got a guy that's coming off of that. You have a guy that has played under Bob Hartley in Avangard Omsk, a veteran NHL coach who I from what I've read was a really good influence on Kostin, and maybe that was the biggest benefit of Kostin going to Omsk at all, was, to get that veteran, kind of tutelage. And it certainly showed, because he Kostin got better as the season went on. But you're also getting a guy that is total energy. I mean, the guy he's like a bull in a china shop, out on the ice. I mean, he is, he doesn't shy away from contact at all, maybe to a fault. As I said, he has 95 penalty minutes. And, as Derek points out, he might take 2 penalties and cost us the game. He does kind of have I fear he's got a little bit of a double-edged sword, nature to his game a little bit. But I think I see him at this point being a better version of Kyle Clifford. in a lot of ways. I mean, he can move, he can score. I think he's going to score more than Clifford does. He's got that in his locker.
2014 is what I can expect out of him. To be
there we go,
honest.
and that, you know what, that'd be great. And you know, and you made a good point. No other NHL team going into the playoffs right now is adding a player like Kostin at their roster at this point, fresh off winning a Gagarin Cup, energy guy. He bangs. He's a heavy player. He'll probably get you some dirty goals, you know, in front of the net, which is what the Blues need. I mean, I feel like one point that was made by I think it was Derek during our Krug chat here. We're talking about Krug, and he mentioned, isn't his ability to score dependent on how well our forwards screen? And I feel that is one thing the Blues have been kind of missing a little bit, is, you know, saying the Blues forwards haven't, I feel they haven't generated as much traffic in front of opposing goalies as you would like. Kostin is traffic, you know, I mean, he is going to be causing a lot of havoc in the other team's zone. And I'm looking forward to him. He's not going to be a number one top line forward. Okay.
No,
I don't think so, but let's keep in mind, he was the last pick in the first round. I mean, if he ends up being just a middle six forward, great. That's fine. That's a pick. That's a dub. And especially considering the fact that, you know, we got the pick and Sundqvist for, you know, Ryan Reeves, who, I mean, we love Ryan Reeves, but I mean, let's face it, I wouldn't trade Sundqvist and Kostin for him right now. I mean, that's kind of silly. So we're playing with house money here with Kostin.
Yeah. And
I think he is going to add a very fun element to this team. I can't wait to see him, and I can't wait for him to be a Blue for a long time. I think he's going to have a real chance, especially once they send Zach Stanford packing. I mean, that's going to be Kostin's spot for the taking, in my opinion. Surely Stanford's not coming back this year. Surely. So, but the story with Kostin this year was kind of interesting because he was sent to Russia when everything was still kind of in flux with the pandemic. We didn't know if the minor leagues were even going to be a thing this year. So they sent him over to Russia for just the intent was for him to be there just a little bit, just to, you know, get him some game time, get him some action. And then they have visa issues, and, you know, because the pandemic was still being an absolute jerk. So he stayed. And do you feel maybe, Wags, that was a blessing in disguise for his development?
Huge blessing in disguise, because he got to play a complete season when in familiar territory with guys that he wanted to play with, and then they go out and they win a championship. So the fact that he didn't have to travel back and forth from the United States and Russia, have to quarantine multiple different times, and that's another thing we have to remember, is there is going to be some sort of quarantine that he has to go through before he can actually play with the Blues. So he may not play this week. It just kind of depends on when he gets in here from Russia, what the quarantine looks like, and then he's already assigned to the taxi squad, so we'll have to see how that kind of plays out. But not having to deal with all of that, knowing that he's going to be playing consistently day in and day out, it gave him a lot of confidence, I think, and I think it is a huge blessing in disguise. And once again, he won a championship, so now he's got that, and he's going to come into this Blues team and go, okay, I showed I could play there, now I'm going to show I can play here, because a lot of washed up NHLers go over to the KHL. Well, he beat up on all those. Now he's going to come over here and say, okay, I did that. Now I'm going to show you what I can actually do against real NHL players and really prove himself.
And he got to beat up on former Blue Dmitry Dyaskin as well. So,
True.
Who, by the way, I think has rekindled his career in the KHL. And I think
was an MVP last year, wasn't he?
Yeah, and I think this year he was one of their the league high, like maybe the highest scorer in the league. I mean, he's probably going to be he might come back to the NHL and be like a perennial 30-goal scorer, just to rub it in our faces.
Although that wraparound, I guess.
Yeah, I guess he did. Well, maybe he has more room to work with in the KHL to make those wraparounds happen. I don't think the KHL is nearly as physical as the Blues.
No, not even
NHL
close.
Is. No. Not even close. So, by the way, you mentioned Mason. You know, the Kyrou, the Hoffman, the Thomas line. Those three together. And I'm thinking about, like, who would you put Kostin with on this team? I mean, ideally. Where does Kostin play?
I'm gonna get a lot of flack for this, but a great way to preface this. But I'd put him with O'Reilly and Perron. If I'm perfectly honest, that's what I would
like
do.
That. I like that. I like that a lot.
I would, and a lot of people see. I brought that up with a few people in a group chat that I'm in, and they're like, no, because they play 3 separate styles. And I'm like,
That's
you
the point.
like that?
That's the point.
Yeah,
right.
That's how great lines are constructed.
Right. Because I mean, you want a guy who can go up the middle and obviously, hit and make some room and make plays when needed. So I think, O'Reilly's going to bring that back checking aspect. I'm not expecting that out of Klim Kostin. He can do it, but I'm not expecting that out of him.
Right.
You got the guy who will go into the corners and make plays. That would be Kostin.
Mm-hmm.
And then you got the perennial sniper. That is David Perron.
Yeah. I think they
what
play
I would
well.
do. I
think that's a good combo. I think they would complement each other very well. As you said, Kostin's going to be a hell of a forward checker. I think, staying in the zone, causing havoc in the corners, maybe screening the goalie a little bit. I don't know if that's his game so much, but I think he's capable of it. Definitely. He's got the size for it. He's got the moxie for it. I only worry about whether if, a defender's on his back and like cross-checking him in the back a few times, if Kostin's going to pull I don't know, actually. I know he's like 200. Let's see. You're Klim Kostin. How big are you?
Oh, I'd be careful typing that in.
He's 6'3". He's 6'3".
Okay.
Yeah,
6'3", probably 220, something around there.
Hockey database lists him as 6'3", 212.
212. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, 212. So he's got some beef on him, and that's he's not like he's from what I've heard of him, he's like one of those like really low body fat percentage type of guys. So he's just a strong guy.
Yeah.
I just worry about if he's gonna get cross checked in the back and turn around and Hanson brother someone in the face, and start a practice. Yeah,
just start a whole Final Destination sequence right in front of the net.
Yeah, but that's part of the fun with Kostin, though.
Yeah.
He is a throwback. He is and trust me, Blues fans will. He's got the quality of game, that I think Blues fans will be really endeared to him once he gets going in the NHL. It has taken a little while to get him adjusted to the North American game, and of course, here we are asking him to do that in a week after playing in the KHL. Right. But I think he'll be fine. He'll be fine. It's just he's not going to be a superstar, but he's going to be fine, I think.
And the big thing you have to remember, too, is we talk about putting him on the O'Reilly-Perron line. People are like, oh, well, isn't that our top line? The Blues don't have a 1, 2, 3, 4 line. They have 4 lines. So the whole thing of, oh, you can't put him on the top line does not apply to the Blues because no line is truly the top line. They spread out their offense. They spread out their capabilities throughout those 4 lines. So putting him on that line doesn't necessarily make him a top 6 forward. It just puts him on a line with guys that are in that grouping. So if anybody's worried and they're hearing us talk, oh, he's a Kyle Clifford or he's a Pat Maroon, and then we're putting him on the top line, that's not what it's all about. They're just putting him with the line that makes the most sense. And I 100% agree. I think that's the perfect spot for him.
And I think we'll need to actually see him in action for us to like really truly determine like where does he work, and because we haven't had a chance to see him a lot. I'm of a couple minds of him. I like the idea of Perron and O'Reilly as a complement to those two styles. I mean, he's a true power forward. I also kind of like the idea of pairing him on a line with Tarasenko, whoever he's matched up with, just as protection, maybe a little bit.
Tarasenko, Barbashev, Kostin, the Russian line.
There we go. The
pretty good one in Detroit.
Yes, the White Russian line. I love it. I absolutely love it. And then, of course, there's always the possibility of maybe just throw them with Clifford and Barbashev and just have them be a wrecking crew. As a third line. I mean, I think it's quite possible we see Kostin maybe in all 3 of those situations. Because in addition to us figuring out what game he plays, Ruby's got to figure out where he fits in too. So I think we'll see him in a variety of situations. I think. By the way, one final thing with Kostin, there was a report from the media outlet Champion AT. Of course, state-run media, of course, Russia. You got to trust it at all times. That suggested that Kostin actually wanted to stay in Russia. I call bullshit on that, don't you guys?
I don't know. That Russian media is pretty non-biased, and they're pretty good.
Oh yeah, down the middle, fair and accurate.
Fair and accurate. They're very straight. Those straight arrow bunch of people. Those Russian medias are.
They got 5 out of 5 stars by Vladimir Putin. I mean,
absolutely.
That's
And see, any media that is literally endorsed by the government, it's got to be good.
It's got to be
right.
Good.
Has to be.
Yeah.
You know.
I don't think I've ever seen any sort of report from from Kostin that suggested that he thought the KHL was his future. I think he was kind of like Tarasenko in that he wants to prove himself in the NHL. So fair to say, Russian media, you still can't trust it.